If you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. This video is going over some Grey Knights list using Canis Rex as an ally. As of the June 2025 Imperial Knight update, Canis Rex is a very cheap 380 points. He has seen some changes to his stat line, but he is still a beast when it comes down to backing up the Grey Knights. I have 3 2,000 points lists for this video. Let's first take a look at the new, cheaper Canis Rex. Canis Rex has gone from 450 points to 380 points. Why did he go down in so many points? Let's take a look at his new datasheet. The big change was going from toughness 12 to toughness 11. He did gain some more wounds and a points drop to compensate for that loss in toughness. He is a bit weaker to strength 12 and strength 6 weapons. Other than that, the higher wounds makes it harder to kill without those dedicated anti-tank guns. He retained his deadly shooting and scary melee, sustained hits 1 on all of his weapons, then the Chainbreaker ability gives Canis Rex critical hits on a 5+. His other ability, Legendary Freeblade, to use a core stratagem for a reduced CP cost of 1, great for stratagems such as CP Reroll or the mighty Tank Shock. His points price, damage threat, along with being hard to kill, Canis Rex makes for a great knight ally for the Grey Knights. The Grey Knights have nothing that compares to the damage potential of Canis Rex. Dreadknights can come close. Canis can spike on those 5+s to hit and send enemies into orbit. The Land Raider can give the Grey Knights some anti-tank shooting. We do not really need the transport capacity of the Land Raider as the Grey Knights. We just teleport to where we are going. Canis gives a Grey Knights list a real shooting and melee threat the enemy can't ignore or bully, something the Grey Knights do have trouble with. We will start with a Warpbane Task Force list. This is an infantry heavy list with Canis Rex as an allied knight, and it comes to 2,000 points. My warlord was Caldor Drago. For the other characters, I do have Castellan Crow, a Grandmaster with the Radiant Champion enhancement, and a Brotherhood Chaplain. For my battle line, 3 units of 5 Terminators. All of them have the Psy Cannon, Ancient's Banner, and the Narthecium. A 5-man strike squad unit with a Psy Cannon and close combat weapon. For my other datasheets, I have a big 10-man unit of Purifiers, 4 Incinerators, and 4 close combat weapons. I have 2 5-man units of Purifiers with 2 Incinerators and 2 close combat weapons. Finally, for my allied unit, Canis Rex. Anytime we have Purifiers in the list, we could use Psy Cannons or Incinerators. Here I just have Incinerators, but you could put Psy Cannons. This list is for the baby carrier haters out there. The new Nemesis Dreadknight kit didn't really do any favors to fix the baby carrier feel of these Nemesis Dreadknights. We have a list filled with Grey Knights Infantry and Canis Rex as an ally. Even though we do not have any Dreadknights in the list, we still have some good damage output. Warpbane Task Force has more damage potential than the Teleport Strike Force, but less overall tricks and speed. 15 Terminators, 20 Purifiers are the infantry backbone of the list. I have Crow with a unit of 10 Purifiers. I can use this as an attack unit, use Sanctified Killzone for 1 CP to reroll hits and wounds for that entire unit. The other 2 5-man Purifiers I will use for utility and buffing the other units with their 6-inch hollowed ground aura. Terminators love reroll hits from the hollowed ground. They hit on a 3+ with lethal hits. Reroll hits is great on those Terminators. For our stratagems, we do have Repelling Sphere for 1 CP. This can be used to reduce enemy charge rolls. Hallowed Ground for 1 CP can be used for 6-inch charges out of Deep Strike, excluding our 15 Terminators though. Aegis Eternal for 1 CP can give the Grey Knights Infantry a 4+ invulnerable, not so useful on our Terminators, but the Purifiers and Strike Squad will make use of that stratagem. A number of stratagems to deal out mortal wounds to the opponent as well. The detachment can be CP hungry, especially with all these infantry units. A lot of these stratagems are infantry locked. This list will play like a normal Warpbane Task Force list, even with Canis Rex in the list. We want to use movement and line of sight to our advantage. Our infantry units want to set up within the hollowed ground to increase the overall damage of the unit. Canis will be used to bully the midboard in the later turns. He should give this list enough shooting threat to keep the enemy from sitting in all of the shooting lanes. Play for points, use our army and detachment rule to line up some damage combinations on enemy units. Our next list is a Warpbane Task Force list as well. I've named this list Nemesis Rex. It comes to 1,995 points. My Warlord is a Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknight with the Paragon of Sanctity Enhancement, a Great Hammer, Heavy Side Cannon, and Heavy Incinerator. For my other characters, I do have 2 more Grandmaster Nemesis Dreadknights. Both of these also have the Great Hammer, Heavy Side Cannon, and Heavy Incinerator with no enhancements. Battle Line is a 5-man unit strike squad with a side cannon and close combat weapon. For my other data sheets, we do have 3 Nemesis Dreadknights with the Great Hammer, Heavy Side Cannon, and Heavy Incinerator. A 5-man unit of Purifiers with 2 side cannons and 2 close combat weapons. For our allied units, we do have a Calidus Assassin and Canis Rex. This is the most simple and spam-filled list of the video. It does look strong though. 6 Dreadknights, Canis Rex, and 3 utility units will be hard for some enemy units to deal with. Not a list I would bring to a fun casual game unless the opponent has units who can deal with all these walkers and Rex, or it will be a rough time. There is not much rule support for the Dreadknights in this detachment. The ones that we do have access to are quite strong. The detachment rule Hollowed Ground, allowing us to reroll our hit rolls. All 6 Dreadknights will have reroll hits of 1 all game, with a possible reroll hit roll if the Dreadknights are within our Hollowed Ground. This rule alone makes the Dreadknights shooting in melee much more reliable than the Teleport Strike Force. The Purifiers in my list can spread around some Hollowed Ground within 6 inches to give units reroll the hit roll. The Strike Squad can sticky objectives and do secondary actions, along with the Calidus Assassin to uppy downy all around the board, getting us some points as well. My Warlord Grandmaster Dreadknight has the Paragon of Sanctity Enhancement, mostly a points filler. It can be useful to put Hallowed Ground on one of these Dreadknights for a phase, a good way to boost up that Dreadknight's damage. We can use Sanctified Kill Zone for 1 CP to give the Dreadknights reroll a wound roll of 1. All the other stratagems work on my infantry units. I want to use those infantry units for utility. I want to try not to use CP on these as much as possible, save them for my Dreadknights, save them for when I really need them. This is going to be a 100% stack check list. Use the first turn or 2 to set up a big go turn. Do not feed the opponent 1 Dreadknight at a time. We want to throw 6 Dreadknights, 3 of which can advance, shoot, and charge, plus Canis Rex into our enemy lines. Find out if they can deal with all the shooting and melee damage coming their way. Play aggressive, but minimize the risks. My last Canis Rex Grey Knights video is a Teleport Strike Force list. It comes to 1,995 points. I've named this one Mortals for Breakfast. My Warlord is a Brotherhood Librarian with the Sigil of Exigence Enhancement. For my other characters, I do have 2 more Librarians. One of them has First to the Fray, the other has the Inescapable Wrath Enhancement. For my battle line, 3 units of 5 Terminators. All 3 have a Side Cannon, Ancient Spanner, and Narthecium. 2 units of 5 Strike Squad, once again a Side Cannon and Close Combat Weapon in each one of those squads. For my other data sheets, a unit of 5 Inceptors with a Side Cannon and Close Combat Weapon, a Nemesis Dreadknight with a Great Hammer, Heavy Side Cannon, and Heavy Incinerator. Finally, rounding up the list is Canis Rex. Teleport Strike Force has more movement tricks than the Warpbane Task Force. The damage output is less though. For this list, I wanted to try making something themed and fun. Canis Rex backed up by mortal wounds dealing Grey Knights. I was going to try to fit Captain Stern in here for his mortal wounds ability. I ended up keeping the Librarian mortal wounds theme. We do have a Dreadknight in the list for some extra anti-tank. The 3 Librarians will join the 3 Terminator units. I want to teleport these around the board and melt brains with their Vortex of Doom. Use the detachment rule for the auto advance 6 inches and Mist of Deimos to get these Grey Knights flying around the board. Canis will do Canis things, protect the deployment for the first few turns, then take a stroll out to the mid-board in the later turns. We do not want to get Canis killed early, say turn 1 or turn 2. We want him around for the later turns. This list has a lot of flexibility. We could drop a Librarian for Caldor Drago, drop the Nemesis Dreadknight for some more utility units. I mostly wanted a list that had high mortal wounds potential with Canis Rex stomping around the board. Even though this list is more of a fun theme style list, it still has some teeth. That is all 3 of my Canis Rex Grey Knights list. Let's move on to some final thoughts. These lists should be quite strong. Grey Knights are due for a codex soon. We may even get some more synergy with a Knight ally. I also want to try the Knight Castellan in a Teleport Strike Force list. I read a comment about the upsides of a big gun knight for the Teleport Strike Force. I want to play with the Castellan some with a possible deep dive, then come back to the discussion of a Knight Castellan ally in a Grey Knights list. Subscribe for weekly battle reports, list videos, and other Warhammer 40K content. Channel members get access to videos days in advance. And like always, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by.